All right, so Welcome to Derry is here. It's upon us. HBO
It has
throwing us another
arrived.
gift. First we had The Last of Us. Now we got Welcome to Derry. And we'll see what's next. So, Welcome to Derry. If for those of you who don't know, this is intended to be 3 seasons. We'll see what happens. Typically with HBO, they're pretty good at sticking to their plans. So this one is supposed to take place backwards. This already is starting that trend here in 1962, 27 years before Chapter 1. Right? Mm-hmm. Season 2 will take place in 1935, 27 years before this. And Season 3 will finish up the series with 1908, 27 years before that. Now, really quick, I do want to point out that we have some source material to draw from when it comes to what these seasons are going to be about. But they're fairly vague as far as, like, the overall story would be concerned, right? Like, all we know is the big events that take place that, you know, these seasons should build to. So in this season, if you don't want to know anything about what might come, then this probably won't be the video. Yeah. But once again, this isn't a major spoiler or anything. It's just what we know from the histories of the It book. You know, when you read the It book, which Kaylee and I both have. Now, it's been a long time. I read It probably 7 or 8 years ago. That sounds about right. Or as my kids would say, 6 or 7 years ago.
Like 4 or 5 maybe for me. But you probably will still end up having a better memory than I do of it, which would be funny.
Well, I mean, the book is more focused, obviously, on the Losers Club and this and that, and that's where you spend the lion's share of the time.
You get a lot of history, though.
You do get into the history of Derry.
Yeah.
But that stuff I was, you know, I wasn't soaking in as much.
Yeah.
Right? Because I was more interested in the Losers Club and what was going on there. But regardless, as I said, what we're going to talk about when it pertains to that stuff moving forward, it's going to be all pretty much right here in this video for this season. And this is the Black Spot Fire.
Right.
Right? Which is slightly touched upon in It Chapter 1 when Mike is at the back door of that, like, butcher shop and all the doors burning and the hands are trying to get out.
Yeah.
Now, I know Mike's father witnesses the Black Spot Fire. As far as Mike's grandfather, who is Leroy, who is one of our main characters in this episode, the captain? What was he? What rank was that?
Major?
Was he a major?
I think is what was said.
You're right. But... so Major Leroy, he is Mike Hanlon's grandfather. The kid in the picture that he has with him is Mike's father. So I don't know. I don't know where that will lead to. I'm going to assume he'll be at the Black Spot.
Yeah.
And maybe Mike's dad will be there witnessing it from the outside, but we'll see. I mean, that's still we're ways off from that.
Definitely a ways off.
I have a feeling the Black Spot's not going to happen till the finale.
Yeah, I think so.
But it could come earlier than that. I have no idea because these characters, as far as I'm aware, like Lily and the little motley crew of kids she puts together.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I don't think any of these kids exist in the book. Right.
I don't know. Yeah, definitely as far as, like, the names of if any of them, I do not recognize them. So if there's some, major Stephen King lover who really knows, like, all the details, like, let us know if any of these characters are mentioned at any point in the book. From my memory, I don't know.
So one note here, and this is revealed in the IMDb, cast. So I don't know if this is going to be a spoiler for you guys or not, but the Black Army or Air Force guy that's driving the Jeep that Leroy is in that keeps giving him weird looks. That's Dick Halloran, who I know was at the Black Spot when it burned down. And then Dick Halloran, of course, goes on to the Overlook Hotel and The Shining.
Yeah.
So what connection? I'm sure it will be revealed at some point, but if you look in IMDb, it literally says his name is Dick Halloran. I figured he'd be here just because I remember that he's at the Black Spot. That's just a name that sticks out to me.
I didn't remember that, so I was actually pretty surprised. I maybe did, like, when I was reading if it's in the book, but, like, I guess it never stuck with me. So
Yeah.
I think that's really cool, and I'm very interested to see just more about that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel really bad for, Maddie, the main kid in this that gets taken, I guess, initially. He's clearly being abused at home, and, like, we find out throughout the episode that he has a hard time with, like, his friends. There's some weirdness of people just not really wanting to be his friend or committing to it, and he's just really isolated.
I think that, things to remember here is that the farther you go back in time, and this was true even in my days in school, it became a little less so in my day because I came from what I refer to as the talk show generation. So, like, the generation previous to me and before, you just didn't talk about your feelings much, and you didn't, like, you kind of just weathered the storm, right? You just took the pain, you especially if you were a guy,
I was gonna
and
say.
you just, like, pushed it down, right? And it's like you just pretend everything's great. And it was very frowned upon. Like, you were made fun of and bullied in school if anyone found out you had an abusive household, your dad was a drunk, like in this show, Lily's father dies and people make fun of her for it. Like, any show of weakness in school was always pressed on. So you always wanted to pretend you had the perfect life at home. As to where nowadays, it's super the opposite. Kids are trying anything they can to get attention by being like, actually, my home life is terrible. Feel sorry for me, right? It's all victim mentality now. Which is not good either. I don't think either are good. Of course, there's a balance. You want kids to have a good life and feel good, and the kids who are having problems at home, they should speak up.
Yeah. Right?
And be heard. And I think that's probably what's happening with this character, is that he is the abused kid at home, and at school, everyone's like, what a loser.
Yeah, he's
like,
ostracized.
How could you let your dad beat you up, pussy?
It's really, really sad. It's very tragic, and he thinks he's going to be getting out of Derry, and of course, it's just Pennywise as a whole family kidnapping him. What did you think about that whole scene?
Oh, I mean, yeah, it's very classic It, like Andy Muschietti's version of It. So this felt very much in line with that, and that makes perfect sense, of course, since Andy is the one who directed this episode, and this made it feel so similar to stuff that he's done in the past. Now, whether people will like that scene or not, I don't know, because I know that, because it's CGI and because people get very down on the CGI scenes within this, like whether it's the hobo, in It Chapter 1, or the big one people hate is the fortune thing in It Chapter 2, where the thing comes out of the table and crawls around, and that this is probably the most reminiscent of that scene.
Yeah.
And people really hate that scene.
Yeah.
I mean, it's interesting because both Chapter 1 and 2 have tons of CGI and CGI characters in it. Right? The decapitated head that's walking down the stairs, that's coming after Ben in the library.
Yeah.
Or, like, it goes on and on, right? The list goes on and on. There's tons and tons of CGI characters, and that's to be expected. Andy likes to incorporate the CGI monsters into his movies and his television show now. So this was to be expected, and I expected it, and I think that scene is super wild and crazy and very in line with this. They're driving over the bridge where the gay man was bashed and thrown over to the sewers in the beginning of It Chapter 2. When he's walking down the road, if I'm unless I'm mistaken, I think that's the area where Patrick Hockstetter and company are bullying Ben Hanscom and trying to carve into his stomach, and then that family drives by, or that couple drives by, and the balloon pops up in the back seat. I think that's that same tunnel and overpass right there. I think
so too. Yeah.
Derry looks, of course, just like Derry, but 27 years prior. The scene's fucking absolutely insane. This woman is giving birth as everyone in the car is spelling O-U-T out. The girl, like, sticking her fingers in the blood of liver and sniffing it and shoving it in his face. It's just,
gross.
Andy likes to make things very obscenely uncomfortable and over the top, and I'm a fan of that stuff. Sometimes it can feel try hard in movies, but I don't know. Andy makes it work for me. He just does the right amount of depravity and, like, silliness. There's like a silliness to it too, but it's like it makes it fun and demented.
Yeah.
And I love the combination of both of those when handled correctly, when balanced correctly, and Andy balances them very well for me.
Yeah, I think it makes sense also for, like, it as a, like, tactic in general is to make things, like, really uncomfortable and over the top for his victims, like, to antagonize them further. And I thought the scene in the car was, like, really crazy. Definitely when she's, like, giving birth and it's, like, just coming out of her. Like, I was like, whoa, that's pretty wild. And yeah, I mean, I feel really bad for Maddie, obviously. And then, like, as we get introduced to the other kids that are, kind of set up as these main characters, I was pretty shocked by the ending of the episode, because I don't know, maybe there is survivors, but obviously at the very end they get attacked in this, movie theater, and it seems like
the only thing,
almost all of them die.
Yeah, the only thing we know for sure, okay, I guess we shouldn't say no for sure, but the only thing that I can guess happened for sure is that, and I apologize, I don't know any of their names besides Lily. That's the only one's name that I remembered and caught. But the Jewish boy, I can only assume he's dead. I mean, his head got smashed against real high up and fell down. He's got to be dead. I cannot imagine he's alive.
And then
his little sister got her arm torn off.
The sister was the sister of his friend.
Sorry, that's what I meant.
And she got her arm torn off. She
right?
Had
very
bled out.
Very
Georgie
Denbrough.
And I don't know if we fully see her brother, the other kid.
We see him kind of like the like creature runs and jumps at him behind the chairs.
I kind of won't be surprised if
I think he might survive.
He's alive, or even if his sister survives somehow.
I don't think she's alive.
I don't think so, but I won't be surprised if he does.
I think all three of them are dead.
But
if I had to guess,
likely,
I think they're all dead.
Yeah, which I think is a pretty crazy move.
It's bold.
I like it because, I think part of the struggle that the show could potentially have is, like, obviously the losers, there's a wonderful chemistry and, like, connection that people feel to those characters, whether you're a fan of the characters as they're written in the books or in the Tim Curry version, or even in obviously the most recent one. Like, those characters mean a lot to people, and there's, like, a chemistry among them that can be hard to, like, recapture with totally new characters without trying to fall into the same, like, stereotype of, like, here's the funny one and the blah blah blah. So I think it's smart to kill them all off and kind of, like, shake things up right away, because it also sort of sets this stage for the show and for in general, that, like, all of the kids are really unsafe, because they don't stop it doesn't get stopped until the losers come around, right? Like, no matter how hard they're fighting and trying to figure things out, like, we know that nobody, like, does it until them, right? Yeah. So there's kind of just this, like, shadow over the show where all of these kids are very unsafe. So anytime a new character comes around
Sure.
that's a child, it's like they could definitely just die and at any moment. And I like that. I think that's good. I think that's a very scary concept to like roll with, obviously.
I mean, that's what's good about original material, right?
Yeah.
When you're following books, you mostly have to stick to the books, otherwise you risk upsetting the fans, right? You're not going to kill Harry Potter in some Harry Potter adaptation in book 2 or something.
Sure.
Or, you just can't do that. But when you're writing new material and you're creating new characters, you can. I think that this is very well set up as far as that ending goes. I mean, we are jumping ahead, but since you're talking about it, I will say that so we have Lily, who has already shown to be thought of as a crazy person because she's been in Juniper Pines, which is the mental institution I think what's his friggin' name that survives and comes out of the why am I forgetting his name right now? The bully. He's in Juniper Pines, if I'm remembering correctly, when he breaks out and he goes and
That's not
attacks.
Patrick.
No, I know it's not. Patrick's the one that dies in the tunnels.
I don't remember his name either, but yeah,
I
think
think
you're right though. That probably is the same institution.
It's not even a point. The point is that she has already been somewhere where people think she's crazy, right? So they already have that against her. Then you got the young black girl, don't know her name yet, but she has already had the cops around her house trying to pin the disappearance of this kid on her dad. So she's already looked at as like a social pariah of sorts, right? And so you have the crazy girl and the little black girl whose father is being investigated for the murder of another kid.
Right. Yeah,
and
no,
they're
it's
the only
a bad
they're the only people
combination
who are there
for that. Yeah,
for this.
Right.
And then you have, the Jewish kids at home, and his parents are being asked about, is there kids that are, potentially could be held underground and this and that, and the father attacks him like, what the hell? There's enough horrors in the world, this and that, and he thinks it's the comics, but he's probably going to be like, it's actually these damn, these crazy kids you've been hanging around, and you put these thoughts in my kid's head, right? And now he's dead. Right, like what were you talking to him about, right? So you already have the parents wanting to turn on him, and then you have the other kid who's there with his little sister, and she's mutilated. This girl's holding her freaking arm in her hand.
Yeah, it's
right.
It's
it does not look good for them
at
all.
It doesn't, and one of the other parts of its like manipulation tactics or whatever you want to call it is that it definitely affects like parents and adults differently than it affects children, where it brings up the worst in people, but it also makes them look away from the truth and kind of obvious things, or maybe not obvious, but just the truth in general. They sort of just are like, they look the other way, a lot of the time. Not that that's going to happen here, obviously. I think that she's definitely going to be, like, in trouble, Lily, and likely sent back to the institution. Who knows? And, yeah, I mean, obviously with this season, there's going to be an undercurrent of racial tension because if you know of what happens at the Black Spot, like, the buildup is already starting. There's the like freaking KKK like knockoff people or whatever.
The Legion of White Decency.
Yeah. And we already get weirdness happening whenever the major shows up, and like one of the guys is not even looking at him, like refusing to look him in the eye, like doesn't want to salute him.
Yeah.
And is just being totally awful because he's black. Obviously, is like the problem he has. So.
I think, so my theory is that General Shaw, who's like being nice to him and being like, I'll reprimand him and whatever, I think that he is like the leader of the Legion of White Decency.
I think so too. I'm like, he's going to be a part of it somehow. We're going to find out that he's been a part all along.
I also think that the guys who came into Leroy's room and tried to get that information out of him are part. It's that guy that would like refuse to salute him, and two other guys, and they're trying to prove
that he can't be trusted.
That he can't be trusted.
Yeah, totally.
Correct. They want to get the info from him to prove to to the leader.
Yeah.
That like no, he
Like,
needs to be
see,
taken out.
yeah.
See, he's a black guy. He can't be trusted. Only white men can do this job. Black men.
He
will
was going to just get shot.
Yes.
He was like, just you're gonna have to pull the trigger.
Well, they, you know, like.
Which.
So there's a really good scene, really quick. You can talk about this actually, but when I think this perfectly illustrates the different experiences of white people versus black people, especially in this time, when they get off the plane and they come out and he's like, how was it? And the guy's like, bumpy, and the other one's like, you know, it was smooth.
Yeah, they say it at the exact same time and then kind of like look at each other and
that could be interpreted in two different ways, right?
Oh, it definitely feels like I mean, I think both you and I had the same reaction where it's like, I don't know, it definitely felt like his friend, like his white friend is like, I'm just gonna like air my emotions and just say like however I feel, whereas he has to be more guarded about things because it's like there's this expectation or like an interpretation of something that could be negative if he's being honest. You know what I mean? And that sucks, and that still is something that people like deal with today. It's definitely not like gone.
My second interpretation of that though could also be the experience of their lives.
Sure.
And the white guy, it's like any little bump is like, you know, too much for him to handle, and he's like, oh, like my life's really rough. And then, you know, the black guy in that time, he goes through so much that just a couple little bumps to him is like, this is a smooth ride to me.
Sure,
right?
Whether it's that or, either way, I think that's those are both interesting, like, perspectives to take. And, I mean, we find out that, like, he's had, like, he was in Korea and he was injured and, like, he's been through a lot of stuff in terms of, like, war.
Yeah.
I don't know what his friend's history is.
We never talk about the Korean War in America.
Yeah.
We always talk about Vietnam, World War I, II, you know, Afghanistan, Iraq, but we never talk about the Korean War for some weird reason. Wars are so crazy.
And this is also an interesting little snapshot as well of, like, when they go to the school and, like, they have the duck and cover, like, on the sign outside.
Bert
and,
the
like,
turtle.
the turtle. Yeah. It's just so funny that it's like, oh, yeah, just go hide under your desks and, like, there'll be a bomb dropping. Like, a nuclear bomb will drop, but you'll be fine under your desk. Like, crazy. So crazy.
So Bert the Turtle is actually a 9-minute documentary type style thing that they played for kids back in the 50s to warn about, like, nuclear fallout and, like, just get under your tables and duck and cover. But that's, like, so Bert the Turtle is an actual thing that they used to play, but the turtle obviously has more significance here.
Yeah.
In the Stephen King universe. The turtle is actually, like, what created Earth and other planets around. It, like, barfed them out.
Yeah, the turtle is lucky, as Lily says.
Yeah, and the turtle is a big iconography for the Stephen King universe, right? I'm rereading the Dark Tower series right now, and it's Blaine the Mono's, cradle is in the turtle district. Anyways, the turtles all throughout. Like, King is obsessed with turtles. Not Teenage Mutant ones though.
No. Definitely not those.
Yeah, no. So the turtle, you'll see a lot of turtle stuff, and then of course we see the bracelet charm that's given to Lily is a turtle. A lot of turtle references here, which of course is to be expected. Now, in the big final showdown in It Chapter 2, that's when it gets real cosmically weird with turtles and such. I knew they weren't going to do that in the movie because it's just way too out there. Obviously, like the children's sex scene that was cut from the book.
For good reason.
The turtle scene is also another one of those ones. It's like, how the fuck would you even possibly adapt this? So they just went with, like, a spider figure. But anyway, let's see. Yeah, I talked about really quick, like, she's being bullied at school about her dad, because I guess the rumor is, from what we can infer from watching this, is that because some of the kids that end up dying actually talk about how the rumor is that her dad, after dying in this pickling accident in some big machine, the kids believe that like his body parts were like pickled and
like
sent out around the country, and his body was like found all around in pickle jars, which of course is absurd, but you know how rumors go. And so kids terrorize her by putting pickles in her locker to remind her of her dead father, which of course always reminds me of the Halloween 4 scene. Jamie's an orphan.
Yeah, but
it's
no
like,
wonder she had to
picking on a kid for their dead parent is the craziest shit.
No wonder she had to go to a mental hospital.
100.
I mean, yeah, it's awful. Definitely one of those things that's just like I could not even.
And she blames herself.
Yes, because it was like she left her mood ring at the factory and had her dad go back in to find it, and then the catastrophe happened. So it's horrible. It's really horrible.
He's the dumbass that got into the machine and got him ass,
Well, he thought it was off. Which,
sure, but
who knows? I mean, in Derry, you have to wonder, right? Maybe it was off.
Was it the mangler?
Yeah, right. But you do have to wonder, because I think that Pennywise, that it like does influence things and it makes disasters happen, so maybe it was turned off and then something turned it on.
We get possible, for sure. I mean, it is very possible, and this happened 1 year ago.
Yeah.
So the kid goes missing 4 months ago. So this is 27 years after 1935's Bradley gang murder, which will be the focus of season 2. And then season 3 will be the Kitchener ironwork explosion. We didn't even get to talk about that, but that doesn't matter. We'll get there in a year or two from now. Probably 2 years, knowing HBO. It'll be 2 fucking years before we get season 2. If we get it at all, who knows? We'll see. I mean, who knows? People love to shit on things, and if this gets shit on enough, maybe they'll just cancel the show. That would be a damn shame. The good thing is, though, is that I don't think that these seasons are going to really leave themselves open in a way where it's like you need season 2 per se, because this storyline will be closed.
Yeah.
Right? And then season 2 will be its own storyline, and that will be self-contained. Right? So, like, even if they do cancel it would be a damn shame, but at least we will get the end of this story specifically.
Yeah.
Anyway. So, we do kind of get a homage of sorts to Beverly Marsh here, hearing voices coming from the pipes. This is from the bathtub. Obviously, Bev hears from the sink, but very, very similar, hearing a voice in there. 2 fingers sticking up. I don't think she knows how her pipes work, because his fingers definitely could not come up through there, but
it's,
mind of a child, which is why he's able to fuck with them, right?
Yes.
And then, funny enough, I mean, another funny little connection here is the Jewish kid. He hears this horror story, which Pennywise is able to kind of play off of. And we just finished watching and reviewing Ed Gein's Monster Show. And, one of the things Ed Gein is very famous for is making lampshades out of people. So seeing a lampshade of faces come to life was actually pretty fucking horrifying.
It was awful.
I mean,
it was so
imagine,
scary. Oh my god, no.
As a kid, especially.
No, I mean, just even the fact that it never even happened for real.
But
sure. Seeing them moving and like screaming, like with the stitching coming undone, so that they can yell. Awful, just so terrible.
Yeah, it was scary looking.
It was
for sure. And just all those faces, and it starts rolling at him, and one screams, and it opens up its lips, like Art.
Yes.
In Saw 4, opening a Saw 4, one of my favorite Saws. Anyway, great, good movie. And then let's see, cool little nod here. I love seeing stupid little connectivity, Easter egg type stuff like this, where Leroy's reading the paper, and he sees that the Paul Bunyan statue is being put forward. Obviously, Richie Tozier has a big moment with the Paul Bunyan statue in It Chapter 2, and plays a pretty significant role in that. So cool to see that it hasn't been built yet, but it is about to be built. So I'm sure we will see the assembling of it in this movie. And then, we get the big massacre, which I will say, I will admit, I did not think he'd kill a single one of those kids. I thought they'd get terrified. I thought they'd run out of there, kind of unscathed physically, but very scathed mentally. Right. And, I sure as fuck didn't think the little sister, who, was so cute. And, she got freaking her arm ripped off, Georgie Denbrough style, as I said, and the other kid got mutilated, thrown across the place, smashed into the one. So as I said, I think for sure those kids are dead. I think they need to be dead. I'm okay with one of them surviving and maybe being really fucked up, but don't try to make all three of them alive. That would be a big misstep.
That would definitely be pretty crazy and very kind of unbelievable. So I don't think that's what's going to happen.
The Jewish kid's dead.
Yeah,
I'm
at the very
100%
least,
positive
he's
on
dead,
this.
but the other two, I don't know. I'm leaning towards the only one would maybe be the brother. But
I agree.
We will see.
I
will
agree.
see. I think it'll, I don't know. We'll see.
There's no way the little girl gets her arm ripped off and people get there in time. She would bleed to death before anything. No.
Yeah.
She has to be dead. The other kid has to be dead. And the brother or whatever, I'm going to say I'm 50-50 on if he survives. I'll say 51% he's dead. Okay. But I am still very split, but I'm leaning towards dead. I think all three of them are dead. But I don't know. I didn't watch the trailer after. I purposely avoided it because I didn't want to see one of them alive in it. Yeah. That would be very annoying. I saw it came on and I immediately shut it off because I saw kids in a sewer, but I didn't look at their faces. Like I saw them and I was like, oh, no, I don't want to see who's there. So very happy. Yeah. I think the little actress who's playing Lily is incredible.
Yes, she's wonderful.
I think her performance in this was fantastic. Yeah. Her breakdowns and her screaming and her crying and all that stuff were excellent.
Really, really good.
Really good, and that's hard, Kid actors are tough to find really, really talented ones. Yeah. And I think Lily's the standout of the four. Mm-hmm. I guess five, if you want to count the little girl that died as well. She should be counted, but I just mean she doesn't really have much of a character in this. She says, 10 words. But where we go from here. Obviously she's going to be investigating this further. Will they try to pin the murders on the little black girl because she's black?
Oh my gosh.
Or the little mentally ill girl because she's been in Juniper Hills? I don't know. But yeah, I think that we'll hopefully meet Leroy's wife and son. Yeah. Soon, the next episode. We're gonna have to deal with a lot of racism. This black couple moving into a military area where he's not wanted.
I know it's gonna be tough, but
yeah. Will Dick Halloran have a part in this where he's talking about how he can feel things?
Yeah, I'm really curious about his character. If we're gonna get more from him, I can only imagine we will. But
100%.
Yeah. I'm really curious to see because he obviously does have, he shines. So I think he's going to have some information to possibly bestow upon people. So, yeah.
Yeah. So, okay. Well, that's that. It Chapter 1.
Yeah, pretty much.
Welcome to Derry, Chapter 1.
Chapter 1, Episode 1.
Yeah. It's just called The Pilot, which I thought this would definitely have a name. Maybe it did, but that's all I saw was Pilot. And I was like, really? Maybe because... Pilot. Oh, because Leroy's a pilot?
Maybe.
That's lame.
Probably not.
That's lame. It's just possible. He is, though. He's there to learn how to fly the B-52.
Yeah.
Bum, 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 bum. Yep. It was a rock. lobster. I don't know why my voice squeaked right there. That was terrible. We're done. I'm not going to subject you to my voice anymore. That'd be the scariest thing of the night. So yeah. See you next week.
Bye.
Bye.